BMW has designed and engineered a plethora of amazing cars throughout the generations, such as the Z3, Z8, M1, and how can we forget about the E39 M5? Most importantly, these cars embodied what the ultimate driving machine is all about. But as we accelerate into the second half of the 2020s, BMW has gone off course a bit, as they straddle the line between going electric while still developing fun gas-powered cars. The 2024 BMW 5 Series finds itself in the middle of this transition period, possibly resulting as being the most controversial generation ever in this sedan's long history. So let's dive into what makes the G60 5 Series unique and very different from its predecessors. The new era for BMW goes far beyond electrification and what you see on the outside, as the interior design they're incorporating into their vehicles not only propels the brand to a futuristic and tech-driven world, but in a sense might be a step backwards in terms of user-friendliness. With the 5 Series, you now have a curved conjoined screen for the digital gauge cluster and BMW's new iDrive 8.5 head unit, and that's just the beginning of what's new for this sedan. Taking steps to a buttonless future for the interiors of BMWs, there's touch-sensitive icons on the door panel for your memory driver's seat, but also on the dashboard that controls your exterior lighting, which certainly takes some time adjusting to, and quite frankly is less intuitive. The same goes for the center console, where BMW retained the rotary dial and quick access buttons, but they're now haptic feedback, and that alone has created controversy in the automotive industry, especially when interacting with new Volkswagen models. There's now a My Modes icon that replaces the drive mode selector that used to be found on the left side of the center console. And for those hopping in from older BMWs, that will likely be the first feature you'll miss with the 2024 5 Series. The iDrive 8.5 user interface is pretty straightforward. However, if it's your first time using this screen and you're accustomed to the iDrive 7 head unit, you may want to take a few minutes getting acclimated with the new menus. Aside from the tech, it's the comfort that you may find really impressive, as the Vaganza leatherette upholstery on our model is a substantial improvement compared to the Sensatec seats it's replacing. While you can opt for merino leather, it may not be necessary, as the quality is astounding, and since the bolstering is firm and aggressive, commuting in this car will be a pleasant experience. More importantly, the 5 Series for 2024 now feels the part, at least from a luxury standpoint, and that was clearly a point of emphasis for this generation. The 2024 BMW 5 Series, also known as the G60, is more than just an evolution of the prior generation, which shared the same cluster architecture platform that underpins this sedan. With this chassis and suspension having to accommodate the all-new i5 fully electric variant for the 5 Series, BMW had to balance ushering in a new era for this iconic luxury car, while not negatively altering the driving characteristics for the gas-powered model. First, starting with the dimensions, if you've noticed that the new 5 Series looks longer, your eyes wouldn't be deceiving you. In fact, it now has a length of 199 inches, which is 3 inches longer than the G30, but also an inch wider, which, to put that into perspective, will be the same size as an E65 7 Series from the mid-2000s. BMW also extended the wheelbase and retuned the double wishbone front axle and multi-link rear axle that will ultimately improve rigidity and refinement, but also weight distribution. You're probably wondering how all this translates to the on-road performance and handling. At launch, we had the opportunity to experience the 530i, the base trim for the 2024 model. What you'll notice immediately is the refinement, as the cabin is far more insulated than it was in prior generations, and despite not having an adaptive suspension, the 5 Series handled bumps in the roads effortlessly, almost to a fault, as it does resemble a 7 Series in terms of on-road demeanor. When approaching sharper bends in the road, some body roll does carry over to the driving experience, but it needs to be noted that the 530i isn't meant to be a sports sedan, and hopefully soon we'll get our hands on the 540i. The hexagonal-like steering wheel is a new addition, one that brings a new feel on winding back roads, as the firm yet fluid handling surprisingly instills confidence. But what about performance? Under the hood, powering the 530i is a 2-liter, turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, producing 255 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque, and is paired with a ZF 8-speed automatic transmission. First seen for the G30 540i, a mild hybrid system is now paired with this powertrain, providing further refinement to the performance, as the 530i is primarily a luxury sedan rather than emulating an M5 in any way. While not a barnstormer, the 5 Series is surprisingly quick, regardless of what you see on paper. The smoothness of the accelerations and almost EV-like spryness is something that's always lacked with the 530i, further incentivizing you to upgrade to the inline 6. But for the G60, even in base form, this sedan raises eyebrows. However, the pick in the lineup will be the 540i, as the inline 6-cylinder engine produces a very respectable 375 horsepower and 384 pound-feet of torque, which is a substantial increase in power over the outgoing generation. Despite what you think about the looks, the 5 Series does make a great impression when you hit the streets. BMW has been at the center of controversy for quite some time now, going back to the launch of the G80 and G82 M3 and M4. But the ultimate driving machine has continued to generate negative comments, whether it's been with the iX, IM, new 2 Series, and now more than ever the G65 series. Ironically, it was about 20 years ago the E60 replaced the beloved and now legendary E39, and here we are heading into 2024 with the G60 that from an aesthetics perspective is a departure from its predecessors. Obviously, the 5 Series design would be inspired by the all-new X5, but the squared-off shape is certainly taken from the 7 Series, and the bylines on the hood have a resemblance to some of the sports cars in the lineup. With the gas-powered model sharing the same platform and architecture as the i5, it was only natural for the 5 Series to take elements from the EV model and vice versa. But as a result, compared to the G30, the 2024 model does make a rather bold entrance, especially with the reshaped headlights and enhanced kidney grills. The rear fascia isn't as controversial. However, the thinner taillights that come right off an X5 and X7 will take some time to get used to. A subtle touch for the 530i we had featured that added a classy color contrast was the brushed aluminum accents that creep their way up the rear bumper, but also on the C-pillars where the number 5 is stamped into the trim. While the interior is very futuristic and comes with its own set of learning curves, it will ultimately be the exterior that makes or breaks this generation. We hope you enjoyed this quick buyer's guide for the 2024 BMW 5 Series. Let us know what you think. Did BMW go too far this time with the G60? Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more videos like this one. And if you're interested in buying a 5 Series or any other luxury sedan, make sure to check out our full reviews to help you find your next vehicle. And thanks for watching.